All right, folks, welcome back. It's Lucid, and yeah, got another fun turn here. I mentioned at the end of last episode that I probably was casting a global. I wasn't sure which one it was, but here we can see it's Galegate, and this is pretty nice. It opens up some options, like I can do Dark Skies and stuff, which will be pretty oppressive if I end up having a lot of Dom push, which I think my Dominion's pretty good. We're growing a lot, but it's sort of also mirroring our province graph. So I don't think we're really Dom pushing into other players very hard, but we're definitely not losing the Dom war, right? We're definitely, at least at a minimum, keeping up. We may be Dom pushing a tiny bit past our own borders. We get Mind Hunted here unsuccessfully. Is there a record of creation? I want to make sure we click that for my OCD boys who are anxious to see. I don't think we cast it. We're also like using it, I think, for various spells and stuff at different points here too. Like, as you can see, we've gotten like one sight from it the past like 8 or 9 turns. So casting Record of Creation isn't exactly a priority at this point. It's also, as we get closer to the end of the game, there's much less time for the sights to pay off. So a lot of reasons, and it's a good path boosting item too. So there's a lot of reasons to use it for other stuff. Oh, we did cast it. Here it is. Didn't find anything. But I know we are taking it off now and then. Okay, we're getting a golem, and we've cast the golem over, or we've sent the golem. Where did we all send them? Let's look at our magic phase attacks. How about that? So Arithia magic phases, and now some of these can random air 2. I forget what the odds are. They're pretty low chances. These are actually really special. You kind of don't want to do this. Like, you don't want to suicide the air 2s like this. It's not good. Another air 2 suicides here. I'm not sure what this is about. You can't even really gem bait. There is a chance if he got a successful... If this is the province where he, like, mind hunted, because he mind hunted one of these tomb worms, he would have attacked here and all the undead would have run because there's no undead leadership. So, let's see. Phrygia, it's right here. Let's see, where did he do the mind hunt? Yeah, I think it was the guy right here. We moved him back into the fort. So, yeah, that was what he was trying to do here, was trying to pick up, retreat these guys. I don't know if that's really worth it. You know, you have to pay, like, this cost him, not only did these guys both die, he had to pay for Cloud Trapeze, and then he had to pay, like, 4 gems for the elementals. So these, yeah, it's not a big deal, but these are small little losses. We did some werewolves. Here's a golem we sent in. This is a Pokemon golem. Two team-colored squares. They're getting closer. But they may not close. It looks like they do. They have Skelly Spam on their side from vampires, so that's what sealed the deal. However, we routed / killed pretty much all of their patrol chaff, and this was a blood hunting province. So even though he got to keep the province, we did manage to do some damage to the blood economy there. No magic sites, and some battles. We'll just flip through these, see if there's anything interesting, and then we'll go to the... So this is cool. Arco's deploying a Tart here. Now, this guy isn't magic phase. This is normal phase. But he's got some cool items. He's got the Aegis. Very expensive, very cool item. Will petrify attackers. And then it has a lifelong protection, which is just all around good. This also is going to be really helpful in dealing with, like, us trying to, like, soul slay it or something. So that's not really going to happen here. And then we've got the Twin Spear. Pretty cool. Not really an amazing item, but you can call Lesser Horror. I don't think there's many... I mean, that is a decent use case for it in combat, but you usually don't want to do it as a super combatant. Otherwise, it's kind of an okay spear. Okay, so that was that. That was kind of cool. This is interesting. We've got a Wraith Lord coming and attacking. And he's got some ghosts. Now, Wraith Lords, if you don't know, they can passively summon ghosts. Not passively, actively summon ghosts. So you can spend a Wraith Lord turn and you get some ghosts. Soul Vortex not going to do a ton of work here, and then Drain Life kills him. Yeah, we're not worried about that. This is kind of cool. He's got a Worm Mage here. Oh, 2 Worm Mages. So he's got Howl and Charm. Yeah, Howl's a good spell. Ended up killing our werewolf commander. However, I will say, this costs gems. And, yeah. Not actually the worst trade. This is us just kind of... we'll have to see what port this is on, but he's got... I don't know what these guys are doing. The Great Eagles are really good. I don't know what happened. Let's see where that is. Why are those guys out on their own? So we attacked into this. I can't imagine why he would expect we wouldn't attack. It's really the only logical move from here unless we we're going to go for his capital. So this, I think, is just misplay. I think he's sort of kind of lost motivation. He's getting attacked. Like, I'm kind of in position 1. I'm definitely in position 1 now. I mean, because we've got Arcane Nexus up, right? Ulm and I are splitting at 50-50. And normally, Ulm in late game would scale harder than Ctis, but... not with our, worm technology. So, yeah, we're position 1. He's having to fight both of us. He's having to fight all of Ulm, right? So Ulm, who's in a better position than him, is fighting him, and then he's also having to fight me. So it's a very tough position. There's almost no way. I think you could take the best players in the game and put them into his position at the start of the war. They might be able to stabilize, like if they put a ton of time on their turns, but they're not going to win. I don't think that's in the cards, but maybe they stabilize, maybe they inflict some attrition on Ulm, then Ulm joins them or something. Yeah, it's a tough position. And the problem is when you know you're going to lose, when you don't feel you have the ability to win, it's really hard to muster the time to do turns well. However, what I try to suggest to people is when you're in a position like this, is don't test things, right? Like, testing takes time. A lot of people also get trapped in a mental state where it's like, imagine it's like a maze, like a puzzle maze. You have to, like, figure your way out of it. And a lot of times you want to kind of, like, sort of do it in your head and then draw it out. But if you can't find your way to the exit, then you never really start drawing. Right, so if just because you can't solve the puzzle of how to do your turn and win all your fights efficiently and like optimize everything so you have a good outcome, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do your turn. In fact, it's like, and I've suffered from this too, like if I have really hard turns, if I'm getting coalition, it will like gnaw on my mind. I don't lose motivation. I will sit there and I can't help it, but it will just like obsess me. I'll think about it at night or in bed. Like I'm thinking about it when I'm on the can. I'm thinking about it when I'm on walks. I think about it when I'm supposed to be working and doing other things. I just think about it all the time, like how to get out of the position, what are moves I can make, what player states of minds are, different tech I could research, like how to script armies better, small mistakes I made in scripting, grading opportunities, all these things. And I end up usually being able to fight my way out of those wars because of that, but it sucks. Now, if you don't have the morale or the time or whatever to do all of that, and especially if you're not testing, which I don't always test even in those dire circumstances, but testing just is really painful when you think you're going to lose. Anyway, if you don't have all the time for that and you're pretty sure you're going to lose, it can be hard for some people to muster morale. I think it's just best to say, like, put some good quality time into your turn. Like, try to script your armies well, spend a little bit of time, like, thinking about it, but, like, you have to contain it. And you have to contain it with the expectations that, like, okay, this is probably a losing war, but I'm just going to do the best I can, and I'm going to put in a decent script. And then you just kind of get to watch the fireworks, right? And treat it as an opportunity to, like, learn about the game rather than, like, here's a maze, I have to figure my way out of it to start writing. Because it's kind of painful. You don't really learn anything. You're not going to win. playing that way, like if you're not putting any time into your turns because you're not going to start drawing in to try to get out of the maze, you're clearly not going to win the game, right? So you're not. Now you could argue putting in like even a decent amount of effort just to script armies semi properly is kind of a waste of time if you're playing to win. The problem is if you're playing to win, like only playing to win, like even if you're an excellent player, you're still not going to win most of the games you're in, right? Like it was a 12-person game. I think it was a 16-player game. You have like a 1 in 16 chance, you know? So anyway, point being, it's an almost impossible... by now, it's truly an impossible situation for Arco. You know, he had a pretty good defense here. He threw me off, but at great cost. He's not going to be able to hold this fort. Ulm is doing all sorts of crazy blood shit that I'm not even doing. So he's got to think, like, how do I deal with crazy Ulm shit that he's doing with, like, assassins and remote attacks and send lesser horror cannons and piles of demons that are going to fly and jump on all his armies and jump over fort walls and then an infinite wave of worms. It's just a ton of different problems to deal with. So it's a really hard thing, but yeah, I think he's lost morale. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry for the long-winded way to say it. Now, there are some other battles, so let's keep watching. Okay, this is the one we just saw, which can only be really described as a misclick. The other thing that's possible for this, that didn't actually occur to me, is there must be a pile of vampires inside blood hunting. And this actually is blood hunt chaff, as I think what we actually did. But the thing is he would... This was a super obvious move from me, so he would have known I would come here. So I think that's why they're patrolling. He didn't really misclick. He just probably mostly hit end turn or something. This is kind of interesting. We have Blackhawks here, and Arithia moves in. We managed to snipe his commander, but he gets an air elemental out first. And that air elemental manages to rout most of our birds, but it looks like we still take the day. So, all in all, kind of good for us. Okay, so I think this is us trying to storm the throne where he's doing the Wish Factory. So let's take some time and let's appreciate the Wish Factory. This is Wishcaster number 1. That's an Astral 9 Golem. Very, very fancy. He's got a Rune Smasher on. He's almost certainly going to do Master and Slave. There's an Archdevil here. There's Cthugel, which is also Astral 9. It's got this, the robe of Callius the Druid. And, yeah, a pin gear. We've got 2 Master and Slave casters is what we've got. Then we've got a small pile of mages with gems on them. This is well scripted, this group. I'm pretty sure. While that other thing was maybe a mistake, I don't think he skimped on scripting. We got a lot of gems on mages. And each of these guys, like this guy's got 30 pearls, and this guy's got 30 pearls. All right, so you can do the math about what's about to happen. Time stop. There's Master and Slave. They actually get a fair number of these. Now, at the time of casting, we do have anti-magic up. And anti-magic went up... Oh, wait, did it go up first? He might have gotten a Master and Slave off first. We don't have Master and Slave yet. Oh, yeah. We don't have anything. So Master and Slave went off before any magic, because I was like, damn, that's a lot of worms for him to get. Okay. So first Master and Slave goes off, gets a fair amount, because we don't have anti-magic yet. We did it turn 1, but apparently time stop Master and Slave can still go off first. Okay, we've killed all the traitorous worms. Rigor Mortis is up. There's another Master and Slave. More traitor worms. The gate is clogged to hell. We really need some gate clearing thing. What would be perfect is like somebody up here doing like flame eruption, or there's a lot of fire elementals, so I don't know, falling frost or something. I don't know, something up here to clear these things out. And we also have How going, and that's not really helping us. Another Master Enslave. And the wolves keep coming. We're grinding our way through the stuff in the gate, but we cannot break through. We are really struggling with the gate. We really would not mind having a mass flight caster. It appears the Howcaster has run. And we're trying to charge through, but the problem, they're not skelly spamming, but they're stealing enough worms. The gate, if you look, is actually being held by my own fucking worms. It's just, this really is just this. Look at all these worms here. Look at all these fucking traitors. That must be what, we're going to call this episode the Traitor Worms. Because that's really what this is. All these fucking traitors. And then I think we hit the time, yeah, we hit turn 90, right? We couldn't deal with it. And I think this guy's gonna get killed, yeah. Our Hubris has been punished. We lose 6 Sauramancers. Let's take a look again at what these Sauramancers were doing. Because you would think Banefire would kind of clear the gate out. So we do a few Banefires at the start. Okay, by the time the first important round, none of our Sauramancers are dead yet. They're doing Banefire, Banefire, Banefire. So some of them have died now. We've lost 2. And the wolves might have actually killed them. Yeah, the wolves killed that one. And a Traitor Tomb Worm killed this one. Because we actually kind of need... If we had all of our Saruman... If we managed to keep them alive... We might have been able to clear this gate out with Banefire. The problem, though, too, is they would pass out from Rigor Mortis. So, maybe if, like, the Earth ones had a gem... Or I don't know what it is. Maybe if we did Life After Death and the ones got killed were undead and then they weren't affected by Rigor. I don't know. However it is, we lost 6 Sauramancers, we lost our Golem, and we lost the Troll King. And the Troll King, I think, had some gear on him. I can't remember. Let's see what we put on the Golem and the Troll King. So this guy had Earth Boots and a Demon Bane. Not a super expensive package, but not free. Certainly not free. And then this guy had 25 gems of gear on him. So... You know, not a trivial loss. The only silver lining in this is our Tomb King escaped. And so did some of the worms. Well, that's not the only silver lining. The other thing is, I think somebody retreated. But did Cthulhu or... I'm going to pause. Yeah, Cthulhu doesn't retreat. So, a fair number of the mages did die or retreat or something, right? So we got... Some of them... Okay, there's not as many silver linings as I wanted. We killed some of the mages. It's pretty generous to ourselves. We're also trying to storm Calum. Oh yeah, okay, we're going in with the proper army here. There's not much here, though. Looks like somebody cast Returning or something. Who's even in here? Oh, there's no undead leadership, so somebody must have dissolved or something, or flown away. Alright, so we've got Calum's Cap. I think that's mostly it. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look. We also forgot to leave somebody defending on the outside, so the throne is freed up. These guys have come here. Arithia is raided here with a small pile of mystics. We're going to go ahead and attack. But there's also guys here. This fort we can siege, or we could storm. We're not going to. So we've got some reinforcements coming in. I think I also have... Well, okay, so here's my plan. I want to have Wailing Winds, and I want to have Blood Rain, and I want to have more mages... and we have to, like, restock golems. One of the things, so getting a golem here with harmonica is going to fix the Wailing Winds thing. I think we're also empowering somebody to be death air. I think I also want to use the arc. So that's still available, so we want to put that in play. Basically, we have decided we've lost now a ton of stuff. We might not have lost enough this turn for our army graph to be down. Yeah, it came back up a little bit. Because this, we didn't actually lose them. We only lost 182 Wyrms. So, army graph was back up a little bit, but the mage losses here are very significant, and especially in this part of our empire, like we just don't have much. We have we have two Sarumancers here, no Sarumancers here. We've got a pile here which we're going to mobilize, but we're going to wait for other stuff. We've got a pile to defend this throne, which we need. Otherwise, that's it. Right, so we've got 10 Sarumancers in this region that aren't in this army. So yeah, anyway. But that's basically the plan, is getting Wailing Winds. We also want the Queen of Air. We want to cast Mass Flight. So we're not going to push our luck storming these forts. I think this guy's going to ping inside and see what happens. But otherwise, yeah, we're going to chill. We're also reformulating armies to go on the offensive here. So we've got another army over here. And basically, we want to keep the pressure on Erythia. They've got a small army over here. This is going to potentially defend if they attack. There's a good chance the army moves over here. We are also moving a huge pile of our Empoisoners into this fort. I think this is 15. So, yeah, we'll get hopefully a turn or two of assassinations here, which will be fun. The other thing I should have done no, it's fine. The turn we would assassinate, I would also need to move in a gem mule to restock gems for the next turn, but because there's not a lab present. But yeah, so this is pretty important. We didn't also ping this to see what's in this army, so we don't really know what we're fighting. But I feel pretty confident doing this. We might also be hitting this with Flames from the Sky. In fact, I'm almost positive we would be looking at it. I know myself so well. Like myself as a Dominions player, or pretty well. I know I must do it. Right? There's no way I don't. Somebody's casting Flames from the Sky. I don't know where my casters are, though. Maybe they were over here? The other problem is we don't have a ton of casters. You can see we have a fair number of tarts now. Okay, well, I just don't know if we are or not. I assume we are, but maybe we're not. I think we'll find out in the next turn. I think we've covered most of the things. This is Calum, and we have relocated the Arco army, which has been pulling back to, I guess, core up so it can deal with Olmsum. Presumably it wants to also defend this fort. We're going to move a scout here so we can see this. Oh, there's more to talk about in this theater. So Erythia now has proper armies in this theater. And the thing is, I don't really want to fight them after taking that last spanking. But I also don't really want to let them come to me. So what I want to do, here's a little raiding squad he's got. What I want to do is keep the pressure up. So, and I'd also like to get this fort if I can. So I want to keep the pressure up and make it where if Erythia moves this army out onto me, he's going to feel like he's going to lose a lot internally. And right now, that's not really going to happen because, well, we're not really threatening any of his infrastructure at all, right? Like, if you look at from Erythia's perspective, we're not threatening anything over here. We basically had to re-hide back in Phalegra, right? And we're definitely not threatening anything over here. Though we're doing, a small bit of raiding. So the plan is basically, I think this is going to be a proper army too. We're just going to start threatening more stuff and trying to get more armies in position. But doing that's risky, things could die. We've got our Max, our Philegran Tyrant, named in honor of Max, the Philegran player. with Twiceborn, so he's got a small death wish, hoping to come back as a Tartarian, basically, as all good Lace Dragonian tyrants do. But yeah, that's basically the plan. I don't really... This also is going to Ulm, so while I might be interested in sieging it, this is part of the Ulm spoils. This one might be Ulm's too, I can't remember. This is definitely Ulm's. I can't remember the exact thing, but these are definitely Ulm's. This one may or may not be. And I think Ulm gets this too. Though if he doesn't take it soon enough, we might lock it down or something. But I think Ulm gets pretty much all of this. So there's still a fair amount of work for them left to do. And they, you know, I presumably there's going to be a battle taking this throne as well. Like, I doubt Arco's going to give it to them. So that's this turn. Let's go to the next turn, which is going to be turn 85. It also occurred to me, we'll pull this up in a second, it also occurred to me, and one thing I'll talk about before we look at the turn was Demosthenes left a comment in the last video about Liquefy not being that great, because it's MR easily negates, which... Oh, I thought the area grew, but even if it doesn't. If you compare that to Soul Slay... Soul Slay is just MR negates, not easily negates. So you're going to get a much bigger area of effect, obviously, with this. You're potentially going to hit 6. That's best case. Maybe on average it's like 4. So you're going to hit 4 times as many. The thing that I think is actually really important, and especially for Erythia, like totally makes it overwhelmingly better for Liquefy, is you're going to get a pin bonus, like, too. So if you have it as a big part of a communion, you know, like if you've got... The requirements to cast it aren't terribly high. Where are we? Where's Liquefy here? 4. So if you're like, you know, for Erythia, it's not... They had 50 slaves. Let's say they got up to like 64. That's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. That's 6 bonus path. So if you started off as a water 2, you would be at like water 8. And I think I can't remember if you get a pin for every... I think you get a pin for every 2 as part of a communion. So you'd be getting a bonus 2 pin. Yeah, anyway, I think it's pretty good. And then especially if you make like hammers with Eyes of the Void and stuff, which is tricky, but especially... I think on like your water randoms, like your ones that have a fairly high water, could be worth it. Throwing a 3 pearl Eye of the Void on them, it's going to hurt their MR, but if they're casting Liquefy, it's okay. Anyway, I think it's a good spell. I'll stand behind that it's probably one of the best spells against Ctis here. All right, let's see what this turn brought. Raven Feast, Wizard Tower, Curse of Blood, Tarts, Wish. Got some more magical gems. Lots of Curse of Blood. We've got a pretty big blood economy now, guys. That's the other thing. That's like the other X factor, is that's a whole different dimension of our power we haven't even deployed. We are getting mind hunted. They got a werewolf and a reborn, not something we care about. Record of Creation, don't find anything. As per usual now. Bunch more Curses of Blood, more Streams of Hades. These are really good for us. We're very happy spending our water gems getting these guys. We're really just using these guys for quickening, which is quite nice on our Wyrms. Okay, let's take a look at the magic phase attacks. So I think I actually fucked this up. I think I meant to not send this many people. I think I double sent. We sent the Pokemon Golem and a Tart, and I don't think we really needed to. So anyway, we Soul Slayed this guy. He did have, you know, it was worth doing. Oh, no, we did mean to do this. I sent people in to pick up the weapons. That's what... Did the Tart have gear? I think it probably didn't have gear. Oh, it had some. Oh, this was to keep it from retreating? We summoned an air... an air elemental. Maybe the ghoul was to pick up gear, but anyway. Yep, this is our another conversion. You can see we've got this pretty well down to a science now. Lord knows we've screwed up enough of these. But the engine of Ctis marches on. And then, yep. But if you think about it, this is almost like 30 worms a turn we just got. So pretty good. He's attacking with the worm mage. Okay, we're pinging Erythia. This is an enormous army here. So we attack this. This army didn't actually move, which is interesting. I was expecting it to come here. We've got these assassins. He might have been thinking I had an assassin trap here and spent the turn patrolling. And this actually, the movement this turn is actually kind of interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, thralls and... All right, this was what we just saw. We're attacking there. He's attacking us with some thralls. This is inside the fort. So this is this fort that we popped. We could have chosen to storm, and I'm glad we didn't, because these guys almost certainly would have roasted us with what we had. It would be the story oldest time for us, which is getting jammed up in the gate and not conquering the place. Nexus 149. We send 75. Gave them the extra pearl there. Rounded up. What else? Yeah, so the interesting thing actually is going to be some of the movement. Because that's actually in some ways, like, I'm not going to have too much more to show you about, like, oh, look how we scripted this army. That's amazing. We're going to do a few sort of cool things. But for the most part, the majority of our play is actually going to be with our strategic movement. So we've got an obvious move. This army going to come on this fort. Right? There's also a fair number of mages here. 27. So he's probably going to think, hey, we're going to come on this fort. What's he going to need to do with these guys? He's going to move and patrol. Did we cast Flames from the Sky, by the way? Did we not? Did these guys have fire gear? We didn't cast it. Maybe I didn't have people in range. They don't have fire gear. Dear Lord. They don't have fire gear. Oh my god. We can nuke them with flames from the sky. Unless he has an equal number of scouts that have rings of fire on them. Do we... Please tell me we're doing it. I'm literally killing myself looking at this and not seeing it. Show me... Okay, we're casting Leprosy. That's cast here. So we're thinking the right way. But where is the flames? But I mean, do we not have it researched? That's the other... No, we have it researched. Okay, hello. I think we had fire mages here. Hello, guys. What's going on? Oh man, this is hurting me so bad. We're out of fire gyms too. Where in the hell? Okay, one second, I'm gonna pause. As I'm looking through the list here, I found a second caster of Leprosy at Gilgid. So we're doing 2 Leprosy casts. Pause again. Okay, here we go. Flames from the Sky, cast at Gilgid. So I knew we were doing it. Okay, so there's one. I might be trying to do it twice. There's a second one. All right, he baited us into it. We're doing it now. We've seen there's no fire resistance things on those mages. We're going for it. Anyway, the important thing is he's probably thinking we're going to attack. What are we going to do? We're doing a gym bait. Got a bait squad up here. A few guys guarding him in case there's like an air elemental they summon. We're going to do Phoenix Pyre, some bullshit. And this is enough to gym bait. And then the main army's moving over here. So the thing we're going to try to do, he's got this army that can probably kill any one of our armies. So we're going to say, okay, well, we're not going to raid in your hinterlands. We're going to put armies back here. So what is Erythia going to do when I have an army capable of popping forts that's wandering around back here? Is he going to be able to defend this fort? Is he going to be able to defend this fort? I don't think he's going to give us the throne, but it's going to really start spreading him thin. If we just come at him right through here, he's going to keep whipping our ass like he did in the last video. Which, if you didn't see that, go back and watch it. It was some good stuff. Anyway, we're putting more raiding pressure here. These guys are attacking here. We've got this fort back and locked down, and we are storming this castle now. So there's some changes that have been made. We have the Harmonica Golem, which I'd mentioned I wanted to get, and we moved in an air random, and now that we're in Dominions 5, not in Dominion 6, you can actually cast it as an Air 3 mass flight, so we're going to be doing that. So that'll be quite nice. We're doing Rush of Strength. I don't know. Let's see if we have Blood Rain. I know I want to have Blood Rain, but I don't think we have a caster for it here. Oh, no, here we do. Rush of Strength, Blood Rain. And hopefully enough slaves, but if they gym bait us, probably not. But yeah, the combination, and this also is going to be like a turn 0 Wailing Winds. So I feel very confident about taking this fight. We've also got all the surrounding forts locked down, so there's not a tremendous number of surprises. The biggest surprise could be like him magic phasing his god inside or something like that. This is the fort that, we killed these eagles at here earlier. We have also taken a peek inside to see what we potentially might be dealing with. And this is very intense. There's a tremendous... We had said this province was probably like a blood hunting province because we killed all the patrol chaff. Well, there's still an enormous number of great eagles inside, which are great siege chaff. They're also good patrollers. There's a tremendous number of vampires, which we're blood hunting, but are also going to, you guessed it, clog up this freaking gate. We don't have a storm staff now, but maybe he'll make one. Are we going to storm? Are we that ballsy? We are not that ballsy, not yet. But we do have a Thuella, the Queen of Air, so we're going to do mass flight. Presumably he can see the Queen of Air, so he'll have counters for that. We do take Marignan here, so that's yet another capital for us this turn. We have a scout here on this throne, and Ulm hasn't moved an army on this. I'm actually surprised, and I think the scout was here previously. I don't think there's a... Maybe there's a... Oh, no, this does have a proper army. It's popped. So we're going to wander back here and hopefully see what's happening. I probably should be moving this scout over this way, too, because I really do want to see what's going on in this fort, or both of these, but we're having to pick and choose. So, yeah, that's it. Basically, the long and the short of it is we are... oh, I should also show you this theater. We've moved here, and we are advancing this way. Presumably, Arithia thinks we might go here, and he doesn't really... We haven't really had a turn yet with them where we're doing this, right? So, if we had, like, basically moved past him before and, like, gone deeper into their hinterlands, they might expect this move, but we're kind of doing it on multiple fronts at once, right? So we're going into their hinterlands here, where we're kind of dodging a fight, but going into them, and we're also kind of dodging a fight and going into their hinterlands here. So, hopefully that works for us. So that's turn 85. I think we'll call it here for this episode, but we'll have more exciting fights to come, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.